So this is a flintlock pistol. This is a typically Scottish example of a flintlock pistol. If you imagine, first of all, how a cannon works. Let's imagine an old-time cannon where we know that they put a charge of powder in the barrel, and then they put shot, and then you see somebody with a lit stick that touches the fuse, and the cannon goes off. This is exactly the same principle. This is the cannon. This is the hole where the fire goes through. So in order to load this gun, you pull out the ramrod, you push in a charge of powder, you push in a ball, ram it home. Now this is the flintlock mechanism. We call it a flintlock because of this piece of flint. Lock is just an old-time word for mechanism. So now this cannon is filled with gunpowder and a ball. This is the bassinet. We put a little bit of powder in there. This is a frizzen. So what's going to happen is it's exactly like a Bic lighter, if you can imagine that. The flintlock, when it hits the hardened steel, will create a spark that will fall into this pan, igniting the charge of powder, which gets sucked into the vent, and then it ignites the charge here. So if I load, I close the frizzen, and when I fire, we get some spark. The amount of time between that spark and the firing can take up to 10 seconds, depending on whether it's wet, whether it's dry. So this sort of gun, if you're a very good operator of it, you could probably get off 4 or 5 shots per minute, if you're really good. The earliest flintlocks probably show up at the second half of the 17th century. The form changes a little bit, but essentially this idea of a hammer with a flintlock and a frizzen is used up until 1830, and if we include the Orient and the Middle East, up until 1910. And not because they're primitive, but because it's simple. If you have a gun like this, you can make all your own gunpowder and your own bullets, which means you don't need anybody else's help.